Good morning, students. So this is Dr. Sheikh Anwar from Department of Science and Humanities. So today we will be taking up a new topic, that is electrochemistry, and this electrochemistry finds application in various industries, and this topic is very important for any of the engineering graduates. Here we go. So I will be taking this electrochemistry in multiple sessions. So in the first session I will be taking actually different concepts. So following are the contents. So I will be talking briefly about the introduction of electrochemistry, followed by the redox reactions. Then I will be talking about the concept called as electrode potential, the EMF, that is the electromotive force, and finally I will be talking about the electrochemical series. So what is the aim of this video lecture? So from this video lecture we are going to understand the basic of the electrochemistry, why this electrochemistry is important for our day-to-day life, and at the end of the day we are going to calculate the EMF, that is the electromotive force. Coming to the introduction, it is said that when life gives you lemons, you need to construct a electrochemical battery. And how to construct an electrochemical battery? We just have to connect a zinc pin and connect a copper strip to other end. So this is the way. We just have to make a connecting wire between the zinc nail and a copper metallic strip. We need to understand that life has got two aspects, the positive aspects as well as the negative aspects. We need to take up these two aspects to lead a happy life. So both the ends are very important for us as far as electrochemistry point of view is concerned. So before we just take up this topic, we need to understand why it is very important for an engineering graduate to talk about the electrochemistry. This electrochemistry has found numerous applications. If at all you talk about the energy in the form of fuel cells, this electrochemistry concept is very important. You talk about the organic synthesis, okay, like halogenation reaction, the dehalogenation reaction, the coupling reaction, the reduction reaction, as far as actually the inorganic synthesis, okay. So all these find application as far as electrochemistry is concerned. And apart from these, you want to talk about the metal recovery or the recycling of the chemicals as well as different sensors, okay. They are find actually extremely important from various industries. And even for detection of alcohols, okay, for drunken drivers, actually this has gained some importance, okay, because it works through a simple redox reaction. So it is also actually important for measurement of the glucose level in the blood. So it has find actually very important application in day-to-day life. So let us come to the definition of electrochemistry. Electrochemistry is nothing but the interconversion of electrical energy into chemical energy or chemical energy into electrical energy. So we know that in an electrochemical cell the chemical energy is converted into electrical energy, and vice versa. If at all we want to carry out some of the electrochemical reactions, we require electricity. So this production of electricity, okay, by chemical reactions, and this chemical reaction is a spontaneous chemical reaction. We are trying to actually generate electricity, and the other way around is that the electrical energy is also used to carry out a non-spontaneous chemical reaction. So this conversion of chemical energy into electrical energy and electrical energy into chemical energy is all about the electrochemistry process. So let us take about the redox reaction. So what is this redox reaction all about? So you can see very clearly REDOX. So before I just go up to this topic, I want to just tell a mnemonic: an ox, red cat. So to understand this the further concepts of electrochemistry, we are going to stick to this mnemonic: an ox, red cat. That means oxidation always occurs at the anode and reduction always occurs at the cathode. So with this mnemonic we are going to drive our lecture. So what is basically oxidation? Oxidation is a process which involves the loss of electrons. You can see a metal has lost its electron to another metal B, and it has raised its oxidation potential to A plus. So the more number of electrons this metal A is going to lose, the more its oxidation potential is going to raised up. What about reduction? Reduction is a process which involves the gain of electrons. So we have got an atom B which has accepted electron from the other atom A, and it has decreased its potential to minus. So this reduction involves the gain of electrons by one entity in a manner that actually it is reducing its potential. So when you talk about the redox reaction involves a parallel oxidation as well as the reduction reactions. So we have got an electrochemical cell. So in this electrochemical cell we can see the oxidation reactions and the reduction reactions occurring simultaneously one after other to generate electricity. What is this electrode potential all about? This electrode potential is nothing but the tendency of any of the electrode or any of the metal either to lose electrons or to gain electrons. Let us take a simple example. We have got a metallic strip, and this metallic strip is dipped in a beaker having its own solution. So we have got a metal and it is dipped in its own solution. So I can just write as a metal solution. And at some point of time, suppose say that this metal has got the tendency to lose electrons. After some time, you can see here we have got more amount of M plus ions present in the solution, and you can see here M plus ions are more in number as when compared to the previous case. So I can say that this metal has got the tendency to lose electron when it's in its own solution. So at some point of time, this metal ions, they want to take up the electrons present in the metallic strip. And before that, let me tell you that whenever this metal loses electrons, the electrons are at the periphery of the metallic strip. So since there are x of electrons at the periphery of the metallic strip, by sign convention we are giving this sign as negative to this metallic strip. So this metallic strip will keep on losing M plus ions. So at some point of time in the solution we are having more number of M plus ions as when compared to previous case. So this metal ions, sometimes they want to take back the electrons, so to convert back to the metal. So there is an equilibrium set up between the metal losing electrons and the metal accepting electrons, and this can be found very well in a zinc case. We have got a zinc metallic strip dipped in zinc sulfate solution. So when zinc is dipped in zinc sulfate solution, you can see very well that zinc has lost electrons and electrons have accumulated at the periphery of the metallic strip. So this electrons are formed because zinc has lost 2 electrons and the solution is having more number of Zn plus 2 ions. And this negative charge is developed on the metallic strip, and this negative charge actually will tend to attract the positive HL charge. The positive charge are coming from the zinc plus 2 ions. So this zinc plus 2 ions again want to take up the 2 electrons to form zinc solid. So this kind of equilibrium is generated actually when zinc is dipped in zinc sulfate solution. Let us take the second example. Suppose, say we have got another metal, and this metal is also dipped in its own solution, the metal solution. In this case, let us assume that this metal has got more tendency to accept electrons. So at some point of time, when this metal is dipped in its own solution, the metal ions present in the solution, they tend to accept the electrons. So after some time, we can see that this metal has got less number of ions in its solution, because all the metal ions present in the solution have taken the electrons, and these metal ions, since they have taken the electrons, they have undergone reduction and they have deposited on the surface of the metal. So at some point of time, an equilibrium is created when the metal actually does not want to what you call take up the electrons and starts losing electron. And this can be seen actually in the case of copper. When copper is dipped in copper sulfate solution, because we know that copper sulfate is blue in color, so the copper plus 2 ions which are present as aqueous, they tend to take up the electrons and to form copper solid. Since copper ion is trying to take up the electrons, so there is a reduction of charge actually at the metallic strip. So by sign convention, we are giving a plus sign. So an equilibrium is created between the copper plus 2 ions taking the 2 electrons and copper actually releasing 2 electrons. So we can say that whenever any metal is dipped in its own solution, a kind of equilibrium is created between the metal and its ions. This equilibrium is called as electrode potential, or I can say it is the potential of any electrode or any metal with its own ions or with its own solution. So whenever actually we are having actually any metal actually dipped in own solution, we may have two cases. Metal can release electrons or the metal can accept electrons. So this chemical reaction will create a dynamic equilibrium, and as far as things are concerned, the negative ions will attract the positive ions or the positive ions will attract the negative ions, and due to this attraction, these counter ions, the positive ions and the negative ions, they remain intact with each other. As a result, a kind of a short layer of positive ions or negative ions are formed. This layer of positive ions and negative ions which is formed actually is called as Helmholtz electrical double layer. Let me repeat, an Helmholtz electrical double layer is produced whenever we are having a metal dipped in its own solution. So the metal can lose electrons or the metal can accept electrons. So whenever the metal is losing electrons, so we have got actually the equilibrium between the metal ions and the electrons, or vice versa. So in those cases actually a double electrical layer actually is deposited. So this kind of double electrical layer is called as Gibbs-Helmholtz electrical layer. So we have seen that there are two conditions like zinc losing electrons. So I can say that since zinc is having the tendency or the potential to lose electrons, so this kind of potential which is seen in zinc sulfate solution is called as oxidation potential. So oxidation potential is nothing but the tendency to lose electrons. In the second case, we have also seen that copper has got a potential or a tendency to accept electrons. This tendency to accept electrons is called as reduction potential. So this oxidation potential and reduction potential are very common terms in electrochemistry. Universally, we should know that only reduction potential is commonly used. Okay, and one more thing you need to understand that oxidation potential and reduction potential are opposite to each other. If the reduction potential value is plus X, the oxidation potential value will be minus X. So there is only a difference of sign. So I can say that zinc has got a oxidation potential of 0.76. That means the reduction potential will be minus 0.76. Similarly, copper has got the tendency to undergo reduction. So the reduction potential value will be plus 0.34 and the oxidation potential value will be minus 0.34. So this oxidation potential value and reduction potential value are just a sign conversion. Let us go to the next topic, that is EMF. As we know that this EMF is been actually in the plus 2 level and stands for electromotive force. To make it simple, EMF is nothing but the potential difference which is created or which has been set up across the two terminals. I repeat, EMF is nothing but the potential difference set up across the two terminals of a electrochemical cell. Let us take this simple electrochemical cell, and we are talking about the galvanic cell, and we know very well that in a galvanic cell we have got two half cell. One half cell in which zinc has been dipped in zinc sulfate, the other half cell in which copper has been dipped in copper sulfate solution. And the deflection of the voltammeter clearly indicates that zinc metal will lose electrons and copper metal will accept electrons. Let us try to understand the mechanism. This is the zinc metallic strip. This zinc, since it is having more tendency to lose electrons, that means it is having oxidation potential. So zinc solid will lose 2 electrons to form Zn plus 2 aqueous. These electrons are reaching to the external circuit. Now it has reached the other half cell. In the other half cell, the copper plus 2 present in the solution, they take up these 2 electrons and form copper solid. So you can see the net reaction where zinc has oxidized from 0 to plus 2 because it has got more tendency to lose electrons. That means it is an oxidation potential electrode. On the other hand, copper has got more tendency to accept electrons, so copper has reduced from plus 2 to 0. So this potential difference which has been created across the two terminals, okay, so to make it more simple, EMF is nothing but the potential difference created at the cathode as well as the potential difference created at the anode. This difference actually we call it as EMF. So the potential difference created between two terminals of a cell when little or no current is drawn is called as the EMF. So we can see here the anode is represented as negative and the cathode is represented as positive. Why? Because we have got a metallic strip, that is zinc, and this zinc has got an oxidation potential. So since zinc has got more tendency to lose electrons, so we have got more number of electrons at the periphery of the metallic strip. So by sign convection, this anode has been given minus sign. Now at the other end, we have got the copper metallic strip dipped in copper sulfate solution. So this copper plus 2 ions has taken up these electrons coming from the other compartment and has deposited at the metallic strip as copper 0. Since this copper plus 2 is taking up the electrons, so we are giving the other sign convection as positive because there is a reduction of negative charges, that is the consumption of electrons. So with this concept, let us try to understand the components of a electrochemical cell. In a typical electrochemical cell, as I have told, actually we have got the anodic compartment and the cathodic compartment. The anodic compartment is the one where oxidation occurs, that means loss of electrons. On the other hand, we have got a cathodic compartment where reduction occurs. So let me repeat my mnemonic: an ox, red cat. So it's very simple to remember. Oxidation always occurs at the anode, reduction always occurs at the cathode. And you can see here in a typical electrochemical cell, we have got two half cells, and these two half cells are connected by a salt bridge. Okay, so an oxidation occurs at the anode in the half cell, and the reduction occurs at the cathode in the other half cell, and these actually anode and cathode are connected by the external circuit. And it is very important to understand the role of the salt bridge. So salt bridge actually is a U-shaped glass jar which is made of agar-agar or gelatin and contains potassium chloride and potassium nitrate. So the role of the salt bridge is to maintain electric neutrality. How is that so? Whenever we are having zinc losing electrons and forming Zn+2, so at some point of time we have got a more number of Zn+2 ions in the solution. So this Zn+2 ions have to be counterbalanced by the other ions. So the salt bridge is going to provide Cl- ions to counterbalance the Zn+2 ions. On the other hand, we have got the copper +2 ions. This copper +2 ions, they consume the 2 electrons to form copper solid. So at the other compartment we are having less number of copper +2 ions. So we are having less number of copper +2 ions and more number of SO4 - 2 ions. So this SO4 - 2 ions counterbalanced by the sodium ions or the potassium ions present in the salt bridge. So the purpose of actually salt bridge is to have the free mobility, and this supplies the respective cations and the anions, and the chemical process is freely carried out by maintaining electric neutrality in both the compartments. So let us try to understand the EMF of the typical galvanic cell. So we have seen actually the following reaction in the galvanic cell. Zinc has lost 2 electrons to form Zn+2. Okay, so this is the notation in the form of reduction, and we have also seen actually that copper has accepted 2 electrons to form copper solid. Universally we are supposed to follow only one way, that is reduction potential. So the reduction potential value as plus 0.34. That means plus means it has got more tendency to accept electrons, and you can see here zinc, I have written actually the oxidation. So zinc from 0 to Zn+2, it is losing 2 electrons, and you can see here, since I am writing plus 0.76 for oxidation potential, I should write as minus 0.76 for reduction potential. So the reduction potential for zinc case is minus 0.76. That means zinc has got less tendency to undergo reduction and more tendency to undergo oxidation. So since we know that EMF is to be calculated based on the reduction potential values, so EMF is nothing but E cathode, E anode. So the value will be plus 0.34 minus of 0.76. So I can say that for a typical galvanic cell, the EMF is plus 1.10. This is the way we are supposed to calculate the EMF of any of the electrochemical cell, and this EMF we are going to use for our next future sessions. In this topic we have taken this concept of redox reaction, so where oxidation and reduction occurs simultaneously. We have also taken this the concept of electrode potential, that is the tendency of any of the electrode either to lose electrons or accept electrons, and we have also taken this Gibbs-Helmholtz electrical double layer, which is the double layer created actually at the metallic strip, and finally we have taken this EMF, which is the potential difference actually created between the two terminals of a cell, and if at all actually you have got any doubts, you can just mail me or just WhatsApp to my number. So thank you for your patient listening. Take care.